Hello, this is my official debut fan formula. I guess my first time properly was I was surrounded by fan formula veterans Dom and David, so I feel quite strange being alone, but I'll do my best. And yeah, first off, thanks for having me. I pretty much know you all anyway, but I finally decided to join in and be sociable. And I know that Dom's doing a top secret, exciting location for his fan formula this week, so I decided to attempt to compete and throw in some hashtag F1 smut straight away by filming in between Jensen Button's legs, because that's how I roll. So anyway, I shouldn't ramble because I'll be doing a lot of that. So question number one. A double podium for Lotus in Hungary proved the team have the pace to win, but which driver do I think will be the first to do so? Well, see, this is a tough one. Kimi, obviously, he has the experience. He's a World Championship driver. He's obviously had a few more chances at the top spot, I'd say. But with my heart, I'm just saying Roman Grosjean, the adorable, happy giraffe that just soothes my soul every single week with his little face. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a close one. I mean, obviously, I'd love it to just happen jointly and just be this insane double first place. Doesn't exist in Formula One, so but I live in a dream world. So yeah, I don't know. Head says Kimi, heart says Roman. I think they're both capable. I really do. So I'm kind of fingers crossed for Roman. I think mostly, but obviously I do love the Kimster as well. Don't mind. It's one of those rare situations where I like both drivers in a team, so I'm happy either way, to be honest. So that was nice and easy. Question two. Placido Domingo was the podium interviewer at Hungaroring. Do you like the new layout or prefer the press conference layout? I've got to say, I think I prefer the press conference. I don't know, the whole podium thing is just quite bizarre and a little bit awkward. I think they're still maybe on a high from their win. I'm not sure why it's so awkward. I mean, this week's particularly, I think, we're all looking out for Baumgartner, Hungarian Formula One driver, and then we get this random guy. I think even Kimi was probably like, who is this guy? What is going on? Hoping to skulk off before having to do a press conference, or get promoted to podium and then he doesn't have to deal with it at all. Yes, it was odd. It's a little bit awkward. I think it's kind of nice to get the immediate reactions, but at the same time, maybe they need a minute to just kind of collect their thoughts, so they're not just kind of strange rambling going on. But I don't know. I enjoyed the kind of shenanigans you can get. When Jackie Stewart was up there and Severn Jensen are pouring champagne on his hat. So it's a bit of fun. I don't know if I'd want it permanently, but it's kind of a laugh. So I don't have a huge problem with it. Question three. See, I'm playing through because question three, I'm just going to go off on one. So, yeah, I had to get to this one. Right. Pastor Maldonado gave Paul di Resta a bump off the track, received a drive-through penalty. Now, my thoughts on this. Going to be naturally controversial, being the only Pastor Maldonado fan ever. I think it was harsh. I think maybe we could have brought back this pointless reprimand system that Hamilton seemed to enjoy so much of last year, because I think he needs to be told, that's not okay, really. But I think a drive-through was just so disproportionate. I mean, basically, his wheel just nudged the side pod of Paul di Resta slightly as they were kind of just about to exit the corner, and so Paul obviously went off track, but he didn't receive any damage. And I think usually with drive-through, it's to kind of make the suffering kind of equitable. So, if you break somebody's front wing or if you give them a puncture, they've lost so much time limping to the pits and having, their repairs done. So you should obviously suffer as well with the pit lane speed limiter and everything. So the fact that Paul received no damage and, I reckon Maldonado was faster at that time. He was going to get past di Resta anyway. I thought it was ridiculous that Maldonado would lose so much time, so much positions, and I just think it's sad that I definitely think his previous with the stewards is getting in the way of maybe a little bit of common sense. I mean, if you think about it, Kimi and Roman coming out of the pits, I mean, Kimi bashed Roman with his kind of one of his wheels, I think, but that's racing. I mean, there's so much argy-bargy in the first corner as well. I think if you're going to penalise somebody for a kind of collision that doesn't really cause any damage, then you're just going to have a whole world of problems, and these stewards are going to be really, really busy. So I admit Pasta needs to be told to calm down a little bit and stop pasteurising people, but I definitely think it was disproportionate, the punishment. I would have said maybe a reprimand to let him know that that's not okay, but no time penalty, no drive-through, none of that. I'm fed up of Pasta being punished, leave him alone. So that's my view. I'm sure I'm pretty much alone on this. Maybe one or two people on Twitter who are kind of Maldonado sympathisers like me. But yeah, I think it was harsh. And finally, talk of F1 being involved in the Olympics, or motorsport in general being involved in the Olympics with the kind of Olympomania, or whatever Boris Johnson called it. How would I want F1 and motorsport to be represented in the Olympics? It's a tough one. I'm not a huge fan of the Olympics. I'm not the sportiest person, I don't know if you can tell. So I think it'd be tricky. I think there's already a lot of kind of strange nationalistic ideas in the Olympics. I mean, obviously, patriotism, fine. Like, excessive nationalistic kind of feelings. I mean, you saw at Silverstone people getting ridiculous about, like, non-British drivers, and Jake Humphrey being a really, really biased presenter. I'll get onto that another time, I'm sure. I think it'd be a little tricky. It'd be kind of fun. I think maybe if they had it as something not too serious, like a bit of a race of champions kind of situation, because they managed to do that there. They tend to have like Team Germany and Team GB at the race of champions, and it's a bit of fun. You know, they could have this kind of indoor arena, just like a short lap, and it would be a good laugh. And I think what would be really interesting, and I've always wanted to see this happen, would see current Formula 1 drivers all driving in the same car. I mean, the main place where you get that is Top Gear, obviously, when they're all in the reasonably priced car. And I think it's the only real way you can tell who's the best driver. I mean, I don't think any of us would have guessed that Rubens Barrichello would be the fastest Formula 1 driver around the Top Gear test track. And I know that's not representative of Formula 1, like, over a season or whatever, but it'd be really interesting to see all the drivers in the same car. I'd be fascinated to know what kind of order they'd be in. I mean, obviously, you can see in Formula 1, you can see when people have the same car and there's a huge difference in performance for whatever reason. But that would be quite good, maybe, at the Olympics. It's like a kind of short circuit, few laps, kind of a little bit light-hearted, make it a bit less severe, with kind of countries competing. But yeah, that could be a really good laugh, actually. And then obviously you can get in a lot of drivers from the feeder series. Like, it doesn't have to be just Formula 1. You can have your GP2 drivers, your GP3, and so on. And again, even MotoGP, Moto2, Moto3. It would be really fun just to see. This is assuming people wouldn't take it really seriously, and they obviously would. So, I don't know, a bit tricky, but that's what I'd do if I was in charge for whatever terrifying reason. So yeah, that's everything. I'm probably going to like watch this back and go, what is wrong with my face? What is wrong with my voice? Why am I in between Jensen Button's legs? But I'll put up with it. So yeah, that's it, I guess. Well, thank you for having me. I'm sorry I've only kind of joined past halfway through the season. This is kind of ridiculous that I didn't do it before, but had a wonderful time attempting the joint fan formula last week. I'm sorry it didn't happen this week. It's my fault, my battery went and I didn't get Grace's message, so I'm really sorry. But we're already planning loads of races in the future for F1 and pubs. You should really go there, it's brilliant. I mean, it's a whirlwind, you miss most of the action because you're too busy ranting, but it's brilliant. So I think we're probably a couple of us meeting up for Monza, so you might get a joint fan formula then. So until then, I guess I will speak to you on Twitter, no doubt. So have a good one, yeah, see ya!